Welcome back to UnderCover, Waterproofing and Underpinning Secrets, the podcast by DGI Waterproofing. Today we were focusing on, well, a really critical update for Toronto homeowners. It's all about keeping your basement dry, and it directly impacts your wallet.
It really does. We're doing a deep dive into a huge enhancement of the Toronto Basement Flooding Subsidy Program. I mean, the headline news is massive. The maximum subsidy is almost doubling. Yeah, from $3,400 all the way up to a new cap of $6,650 per property. And that goes into effect May 1st, 2026.
That is just a staggering jump. And, it's about so much more than just the dollar amount. Toronto City Council has brought in 5 fundamental policy changes that really shift how accessible flood protection is.
Exactly. So our mission today is to break all that down into an actual plan for you. This isn't just theory. It's about protecting your most valuable asset.
Okay, so before we get into the money, we have to talk about the context. Why is this financial lifeline so necessary right now?
Well, if you feel like the storms are getting worse, you're not wrong. The data backs that up completely. Our city's infrastructure, it just wasn't built for the kind of rain we're seeing now.
Right.
I mean, look at what happened on July 16th, 2024. That was a devastating reality check for the city.
That storm was something else.
It really was. In just 3 hours, some parts of Toronto got over 100 millimeters of rain.
100 millimeters in 3 hours. For the average person, what does that actually mean? Like, what does that do to the system?
It means total overload. Most of our sewer system is, designed for maybe a 5 or 10 year storm. This event, it blew past what the city considers a 100-year design storm.
So the pipes just couldn't keep up.
Couldn't cope at all. The volume, the speed of the water, it was just too much.
And the result was chaos.
Complete chaos. We saw over 1,000 homes flooded in a single day. Emergency services got, something like 700 calls in one afternoon. The system just broke.
And when we talk about the financial stakes, I mean, the numbers from that one day are just mind-boggling.
They are. The insured damage alone topped $940 million.
Wow.
But here's the really painful part for homeowners. That insured number, as big as it is, that's just the start.
That's just the beginning, right?
Exactly. For every single dollar an insurance company pays out, there's usually another $3 to $4 in uninsurable damage.
You mean things like deductibles, lost family photos, that kind of thing?
All of that. The emotional toll, the cost of living somewhere else for months. When you add it all up, the true economic hit from that one storm gets closer to $4 billion.
$4 billion. And for one family trying to recover, what's the bill they're looking at?
It's life-altering. The average cost to fix just one flooded basement, you're looking at anywhere from $43,000 to $54,000.
And the really sobering thought here is that this isn't some freak event anymore, is it? This is the new normal.
That's what all the climate projections are telling us. By the end of the century, we could see up to 16% more rain annually. And, more importantly, those really intense downpours could surge by almost 27%.
So the risk is just growing.
Much faster than we can build billion-dollar tunnels to handle it. That's why this subsidy program is so essential. It helps you get ahead of the risk instead of just reacting to the next flood.
Okay, so that context makes these changes, the ones City Council approved in November 2025, even more critical. Let's talk about the core financial shift. The jump from $3,400 to $6,650, that's clearly trying to fix a big problem.
A huge problem. We've seen it in our work for years. The old subsidy amount, that was set back in 2013. And since then, costs for everything, materials, labor, they've gone up by nearly 20%.
So what was once a pretty good deal?
It was. Back in 2013, the subsidy covered about 60% of the average job. It felt like a real partnership.
But by 2025?
By then, that coverage had dropped to just 41%. The gap was just too big for a lot of families to afford the work.
Can you give me a solid example of that?
For sure. Take a backwater valve. To install one properly, costs on average about $3,800. The old subsidy only gave you $1,250.
So you're still out of pocket for more than $2,500.
Exactly. And a lot of people just couldn't swing that. So the new increase, it's designed to get that coverage back up to around 53%. It makes the work financially possible again for so many more people.
All right, let's get into the 5 game changers, the actual policy updates that show the city is listening to what's happening on the ground.
Okay, the first one, and I think this is probably the smartest addition, is the new home plumbing assessment subsidy.
An assessment subsidy, tell me about that.
They're offering up to $500, that's 80% of the cost, for a professional evaluation of your home's plumbing system.
So it's like a basement health checkup. Why is that so important? Why not just install the valve?
Because it cuts through all the confusion. So many homeowners don't actually know why they're flooding. Is it sewer backup? Is it groundwater coming through the foundation? This assessment tells you.
So it stops you from spending money on the wrong solution.
Precisely. A professional comes in, they use a camera to inspect your underground pipes, check your weeping tile, all of it. You get a personalized report that says, here's your problem, and here's the most effective way to fix it.
Okay, that's smart. What's number 2?
Number 2 tackles a huge vulnerability we see all the time. It's the new battery backup subsidy for sump pumps.
Oh, that's critical. The power goes out in a big storm.
And your sump pump is useless. It's a cruel irony. Our data shows something like 84% of people with sump pumps don't have a backup. So this new $300 subsidy directly targets that weakness.
And they made it retroactive, which is great. If you already got a subsidy for the pump, you can still apply for this $300 to add the battery.
Yep. Which brings us to number 3, which is vital for anyone in an older Toronto home. Second, backwater valve eligibility.
Why would a home need 2 valves?
It's all about how they were built, especially in the 50s and 60s. Many of those houses have 2 separate sewer lines going out to the street.
One for sewage and one for rainwater.
Right. One for sanitary waste and another for stormwater from floor drains. If you only protect one line, the other one is still a wide open door for a sewer surge.
And the old program only paid for 1 valve.
Exactly. The new rule finally recognizes that reality. You can now get subsidies for up to 2 valves. And again, if you got one in the past, you can now apply for the second.
That's a huge relief. Okay, number 4 is an administrative one, but it makes a big difference. The extended application window.
This is a lifesaver. They've changed it from 1 year after the work is done to 2 years.
And why does that matter so much?
It just gives you crucial breathing room. You have to get permits, schedule city inspections, maybe clear up outstanding property taxes. Things take time. 2 years removes that stress so you don't miss out on a technicality.
Okay, so before we put it all together, let me ask about a potential downside. When a subsidy this big gets announced, is there a risk that contractors just raise their prices and eat up the benefit?
That's a fair question, and it's always a risk. But 2 things help here. First, the market for this work is still very competitive, so that helps keep prices in check.
And second.
Second, that new subsidized assessment is your best friend. It arms you, the homeowner, with specific information. You know exactly what you need, so you can get multiple quotes and spot anyone trying to inflate the price.
It gives you leverage. Okay, let's tie it all together. How do we get to that $66.50 maximum?
The coverage is pretty substantial now. For a backwater valve, it's 80% of the cost, up to $1,600 per valve. So that's a max of $3,200 right there.
For 2 valves.
Right. Then sump pump installation is 80% up to $2,250.
And then you add the new stuff.
Exactly. Add up to $500 for that home plumbing assessment. Add up to $300 for the sump pump battery backup. And there's another $400 available for foundation drain capping.
And that's how you get to the $66.50. Okay, so for the listener who's ready to go, who qualifies and what's the roadmap?
First, eligibility. You have to be the registered owner of a single-family home, a duplex, triplex, or fourplex in Toronto.
Unfortunately, condos are not part of this program.
And what's the one thing you absolutely must have done first?
Your downspouts. They have to be disconnected from the city sewer system. That's a non-negotiable first step for the city. And of course, make sure you're up to date on your property taxes. They will check.
And the work has to be done by a pro.
100%. It must be a licensed contractor. You have to get the proper permits, and you absolutely must pass the city's inspection after the work is done. No past inspection, no subsidy.
Okay, so here's the action plan in 3 phases. Phase 1, assessment. Start with that subsidized plumbing assessment to figure out your exact risk, then get quotes.
Phase 2, installation. Get your permits, have the work done professionally, and make sure you pass that city inspection. Keep all the paperwork.
And phase 3, application. You gather up your invoices, permits, inspection certificate, photos, and you now have 2 full years to submit it all online for your reimbursement. And a little pro tip from us. The best way to maximize this is to bundle the work. Do the assessment, the valves, the sump pump, the battery backup all together. You tackle all the risks at once, and you get your claim as close to that $66.50 limit as possible.
Now let's zoom out a bit. How does Toronto's new program stack up against other cities in the area?
It's competitive, but it's not actually leading the pack. Mississauga, for instance, offers up to $7,500.
Oh, wow.
And Halton Region is maybe the gold standard. They cover 100% of the costs up to $6,500. So Toronto's 80% reimbursement is good, but not the best.
Which really highlights that homeowners have to take action themselves, right? The city is spending billions on big infrastructure projects.
Over $1 billion since 2007. But that's a drop in the bucket. The city's own estimate to fix everything is around $18 billion. Public works alone cannot protect your home. It has to be a partnership.
Thinking back to that 2024 storm, what's the most common heartbreaking thing you saw people lose that insurance just doesn't cover?
Oh, it's never the furnace or the drywall that people cry about. It's the box of photos, the kids' artwork from 20 years ago, the family documents. That's the stuff money can't replace, and that's what you're really protecting.
So beyond the big installations, what are a couple of critical things our listeners can go and check right now outside their homes?
Grading. Number 1, walk outside and look. Does the ground slope away from your foundation? It needs to, for at least 6 to 10 feet. Water pooling by your house is a recipe for disaster.
And downspouts.
Extend them. Get that water at least 3 to 6 feet away from your foundation. It's a simple, cheap fix that makes a huge difference. And inside, seal any small cracks you see and test your sump pump regularly.
And the final reminder on insurance. This is so important.
Please, check your policy today. Make sure you have coverage for both sewer backup and overland flooding. They're two different things, and you need both.
So let's bring it all home. What's the final math for you, the homeowner?
It's pretty compelling. A catastrophic flood costs, on average, over $43,000. A comprehensive protection project to prevent that might cost you $8,000 to $10,000.
But with the city now covering up to $6,650 of that?
Your out-of-pocket cost could be as low as $1,300 or $1,400. You're basically turning a potential $43,000 disaster into a manageable, highly subsidized home improvement project.
The launch date is May 1st, 2026. That gives you time. Use the next few months to do your research, get that assessment booked.
And remember, these subsidies are first come, first served, so getting prepared now is absolutely key to making sure you get your share.
We know these storms are getting stronger and more frequent, and we know the public infrastructure can't keep up. You now have up to $6,650 in financial backing to protect your home.
The only question left isn't if the next big storm will hit, but whether your home will be ready when it does.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into basement protection secrets. Stay dry, and we'll catch you next time on UnderCover. Waterproofing and underpinning secrets from DGI Waterproofing.